Trump is becoming the new Biden.
Trump doesn't have much leverage over Putin at all. That is, there's no secret weapon storage.
World War III, it has again surfaced.
So we are very close, I think, to an actual direct war, which would be a world war.
Who really holds the cards?
Russia holds most of the cards, which is what Trump has recognized as well.
The entire world heard Donald Trump when he said that he could settle the Russia-Ukraine war in less than 24 hours or within 24 hours. How many sets of 24 hours have gone past? And there is nothing close to a settlement between Russia and Ukraine even now. In the latest, Donald Trump has now said that Putin is playing with fire. While Putin did not respond to Trump's remarks directly, but a message did come from Russia through Russia's Security Council Deputy Chairman Dmitry Medvedev. He said that he only knows of one really bad thing, and that's World War III. And he hopes that Trump understands this. The message went directly to Trump, and no point.
Hey you guys, thank you for tuning into my channel. This might be a very important message, okay? I hope I'm not boring you. I don't have a very, I have a very rudimentary channel. I've had some new subscribers lately. Hello, welcome aboard. So this video that I'm giving you is kind of venting. It's like a threefold meaning to this video, okay? One is, how are we preparing if shit hits the fan? If World War III pops off, remember COVID, how there was no toilet paper or water at the grocery store? World War III pops off with Russia, and if that it's gonna be a chain link of events that China is gonna attack Taiwan, yada yada yada. This sounds like it doesn't pertain to you, but for some reason, this can all make gas prices go up like $30, $60 a gallon. This could end up with terrorist attacks that blow up our infrastructure, and now you don't have electricity. Now that you don't have electricity, you don't have cell phone towers, you don't have GPS, you have no way to call for help, authorities to call in late for work, traffic's jammed. The infrastructure with the electricity and all that runs all the stuff that cleans our sewage and recycles our water to be potable. You get the point. So that is actually the most important thing that I should be relaying to you. But I have to vent a little bit about boomers, okay? I don't know how old you guys are watching my channel and stuff like that. I'm going to say I'm an old millennial. I don't know if you're a Zoomer. I don't know if you're Gen X. I don't know if you're a boomer, okay? But I don't know if you follow red pill philosophy, or if you know the lingo, the terminologies that zillennials or Zoomers use about boomers and doomers and coomers and gloomer. I don't know if you're down with this modern lingo, okay? But boomers, okay? Let me fill you in case you don't know. Boomers are typically the generation that preceded Generation X, people who would have been teenagers in the 70s or 60s, perhaps. But boomer is also a term for anybody who is just naive. They're naive that the world is always going to be okay. All you have to do is get up in the morning and work hard, and everything's going to work out. And if it doesn't, it's your fault, okay? Boomers are notorious for not understanding how the young generations can't afford thousands and thousands of dollars for rent, a couple $1 million for a home, why we always get divorced. The women nowadays are generally slutty, and everything's dysfunctional, and you get the point. The economy's trashed, okay? And the social interactions between everybody nowadays is very generally based off of image, and if you fit the similar demographic as them, okay? Or else you're just not gonna have the networking to get along. Okay, now with that out of the way, I want to vent about. I'm sorry if you're not religious, okay? This video isn't really about religion. I'm just kind of venting about boomers and Protestants. Because let me give you guys an example. This is my own story. I'm sorry if it's boring you, okay? So I'm blessed enough that my father is still alive, okay? ever since I was like 11, 12, 13 years old, he had some kind of woman at home, whether it was a sister or his new wife. I got kicked out of the house at 13. At age 10, 11, I was already hanging out outside, latchkey kid, stuff like that. Generation X, such an old millennial, I might as well be Generation X, and this is how they grew up. They grew up with a lot of non-chaperones, no parental supervision, latchkey kids from broken homes, yada, yada, yada. I'm not crying you a river. What I'm just saying is, this is how stupid boomers are. I don't mean to disrespect my father. And boomerism and Protestants. I don't know if you're atheist or agnostic. Okay, I would admonish you to, if you care about this, watch debates between Orthodox Christians and atheists. Mainly, the main dude, he's brilliant. He's kind of a dick. The biggest debater for Christianity, and I know Christians are fucking annoying. Orthodox people and traditional Latin Mass Catholics, believe it or not, they're a lot less annoying. Just some of them are dicks, but you can see how brilliant that some of these people who come from Eastern European countries or the religion from there. Let me get my coffee, please. They're fucking brilliant, guys. And anyways, I don't know if you come from a religious home, you turn atheist or something, but what I'm doing is I'm pretty much venting about the worst thing that could have happened to Gen X and millennial kids is having boomers and Protestants as fucking parents. And let me give you an example, okay? Give me a sip of this coffee. So, thankfully, my father's still alive, right? I come from a dirt poor situation. What kind of saved my father's life from working, he still worked 2 jobs, but he worked to death as like a menial cook around a bunch of illegal immigrants. He's not illegal. What saved his life is he finally somehow got a government job. He was cooking for psychos, like you ever heard of correctional officers, like jail guards? Well, the jail guards for psychos need cooks to cook for the psychos. He was one of those cooks. So he got a government job, and now he's got a health care and retirement and all that. Good for him, right? Follow me here. So I left the house when I was really, really young, and I fell on my face a lot. I've dealt with living on and off of the streets. You can't pay rent, you get laid off or some shit. You got to figure it out, and it was really, really hard. So I never lived with my father, but his step family, he raised her kids, which lived in his house rent-free to almost 40 years old, and went to college, lived by in Orange County. The Orange County is like a 20-minute drive from the beach if there's no traffic. They live good. I'm stuck in the desert, struggling with dead-end jobs, right? I'm not here to cry you a river. I'm just trying to say, this is how stupid, and you guys have to have, whoever you are out there, have some compassion on people who grew up in religious homes, that the religion was fucking like stupid. It made the family stupid. I understand atheists and stuff like that, saying how toxic religion can be, okay? Protestantism, boomers, okay? Like you never see nice Mexican people of Roman Catholicism have dysfunctional ass homes. Mexican people have each other's back. Their familia is like this. They don't kick out their kids for new dick or new ass, and if they have broken families or intermingled families, they get along. They really have each other's backs. I mean, just try to get in a fight with one of them, especially in prison. The whole gang is gonna mess you up, right? So it's a tangent. You know what's really funny, dude? I had a bunch of Mexican friends, and we caught this dude that we deemed too old to hook up with the homegirl Rachel, and we jumped his ass. That's fucking hilarious. Anyways, so my dad raised these stupid sissy kids that are doing really good at the American dream, right? They don't even buy him a cell phone. They don't help him out with shit, right? He's a lost boomer that doesn't even know how to have his own freaking email address. So I got to help him with all that stuff, gladly. But the point of the matter is, okay, when I bring up to him that his grumpy ass wife has reclused him to live in a small ass little retirement home fucking shack, right? In busy ass Orange County. She yells at him. She don't even let him own a dog and shit. I don't know why boomers and Protestants have, the women in the family wear the pants. They answer, the women are the boss of the family. But I tell my pops, I'm like, look at sir, you know that if we were a functional group, we could have like a house and property like in Big Bear Mountain or Idlewild, California, or we could just get like a freaking which I'm about to do myself. I kind of have that already going on. Get a storage where you're saving a bunch of water, water and canned food, and preferably guns and ammo, and also preferably stuff to be able to live in the wild, stuff that can grow and preserve food and forage food and make campfires and sterilize water and decontaminate water, right? Prepping stuff, right? He was in the army and all that shit, and he doesn't even fucking care, dude. And okay, his attitude about it, so he has a dysfunctional ass family that he raised that don't even help him out, right? I'm his blood son, iterating that, like, you know, I see these mixed families like of Latino culture and all that, and they come together and they have a plan and they have family and they have camaraderie where we're all split the fuck up. If something happens to the grid, like World War III pops off and now everything is blown up, or like, you know, your running water doesn't work no more and there's riots in the street and the gas stations closed down and there's no water and toilet paper at the store, all these people are going to be frantic. There's going to be a lot of commotion going on in the city. There's going to be riots. There's going to be death and shit like that, right? I could get a storage and I could put food and water in it, but it's not the same as if you were, excuse me, my back and neck are always messed up. It's not the same if you're living far away up in the hills, right? Secluded, where you have a lot of time and space and protection, that you're not around any major targets or any relying on any major infrastructure, that if the grid took a shit, you're okay for a while. You have a means to regroup and live off your own substance until you form a plan or things get better, okay? But living in the city, it's a clusterfuck. You don't know what kind of martial law, you don't know what kind of curfew, you don't know what kind of ordinances that you're going to have to abide by, or a lack of help if anything shit hits the fan. That's a term, shit hits the fan, or the end of the world as we know it, or without rule of law. Those are all acronyms that preppers use. Mainly shit hits the fan, okay? And his attitude as a boomer Protestant is, well, either the rapture is going to come and rescue us, or, oh, well, that's the end of the world. There's nothing we can do. Protestantism is stupid. If you look hard enough into it, Protestantism, as of 200 years ago, they follow some dude named John Darby Nelson, or John Nelson Darby. He invented the doctrine of the rapture, which is escapism. Pretty sure you know what the rapture is. That Jesus is going to come halfway back to earth and take all the believers with him as the world goes to shit. Now, you might not be religious, but I want to show you how stupid Protestantism is, okay? It's a secular, renowned historical fact that the Latin Catholic Church and Eastern Orthodoxy, or Oriental Orthodoxy, is the first church. You don't have to believe in Christianity. I'm telling you how you can believe religion makes people stupid. Yes, okay. But the paradigm, what Christianity believes, which making a lot of because it affects you. Whether you believe in God or not, it affects you. Because these Protestants, they believe that America only exists to wipe Israel's ass, that we have to help Israel for no reason, that we send our sons and daughters to go get blown up. They're burned victims now. They're missing their arms and legs. They got blown up in Afghanistan. They got blown up in Iraq. Their wife leaves them because now it's just a shell of a former person that they are. And then they have to live off of the VA, and they're going to probably be homeless for the rest of their life. All because we believe America has this obligation to help the people that killed Jesus, and that Jesus predicted himself that in 70 AD, the Romans were going to kick them out of the homeland. Okay? You understand how stupid Protestantism is and boomerism is? Okay? This is why, whether you're Christian or not, this affects you. It affects me. Okay? It's escapism to believe that, we don't have to really do anything or make our environment better or prepare for the future or be patriotic and be gung-ho about defending our families or whatever. Because when worst comes to worst happens, Jesus is going to magically take us in the rapture, and then they go to church and the pastor's like, every Bible verse is somehow about how God's going to answer your prayers for a new wife, a new car. And according to the real Christian paradigm, according to the original Christian belief, life sucks. And it's almost like Buddhism, that if your desires cling to this world, you're going to be let down, because everything breaks, it rusts, it gets stolen, it changes its mind, it leaves you, it gets more expensive, you get older. If you hold on to these things, they vanish. And the original Christian beliefism is life is fucking hell on earth, man. That Christians have always suffered. They've always been persecuted. If they're not getting killed by the Roman Empire, they're getting killed by the Saracen. They're dying for what they believe. So this is why it's toxic. So this video is about prepare for the worst, and boomerism and Protestantism is stupid as fuck. And it exacerbates the end of our society. Dude, I believe, you could hate me or not, Trump is a way better president. I trust him way more than the Biden and Kamalas and the Democrats, okay, and the AOC. But unfortunately, the poor man doesn't understand that it's an evangelical, Protestant, stupid-ass belief that we need to keep wasting money wiping Israel's ass. Can anybody explain to me why we should piss off the Muslims even more? They're the ones that have all the oil and shit. Gas is going to be like $80 a gallon if we keep pissing them off. Okay? We unnecessarily aggravate the Muslim world by wiping Israel's ass. And if you go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, for some reason, all the people that own the banks that keep making interest and living costs outrageous, all the people who created communism, all the people who created the social media and Google platforms, that if you don't abide by the community standards, and if you do your little free speech thing and you say anything politically incorrect, you get cancel cultured. All of them have to be Zionists. Okay, so Zionism and boomerism and Protestantism is all going to lead us down the toilet. Because again, I'm like, hey pops, we should really form a plan. Like, if there's a riot in the city and you can't get to the grocery store, my stepbrothers have already shown they don't give a shit if you live or die. I'm going to be stuck out in the desert, and all this time, instead of investing in this family that doesn't love you and you're just a tool, we could have had cheap property in the San Bernardino Mountains and storing food and water and planting our own crops and learning how to be self-reliant and learning how to there's a book I recommend you get. It's called The Lost Ways. It's basically a book which I haven't read yet. I don't have a lot of time. I'm getting around to it. It's a book about how the pioneers of the United States went from the East to the Wild West and how they lived. They couldn't just hunt. They had to preserve food. They had to mainly preserving food, how to make how to make water potable, how to make clothes last longer, or all that kind of stuff, right? And it's just these boomers, dude, and these Protestants, man. All they care about is having a latte and singing their songs, and that the rapture is going to magically save us when shit hits the fan. When, even if you're a Christian or not, us religious people would be less annoying and more credible, right? If we believe, yes, shit can go wrong. Tomorrow's not promised to nobody, and you really need to be on your toes and have a freaking plan. So hey, thanks for following my channel, guys. I need to organize my channel by putting certain categories of videos and proper names and categories. But my channel is basically about, if you're like one, I'm going to show some adventure. I try to go hiking around very precarious areas. I had a kitty cat that was really adorable that's lost. She started this whole channel. She's the only reason why I have enough followers or whatever to even go live. And if you follow me, ask me anything. I have a lot of time. I'm basically about a normal person. If you didn't have the time to go in the Boy Scouts or the military or go to martial arts school, I could bring you up to speed a little bit in those things. I've done martial arts my whole life. I'm not bragging. But just about 2 or 4 years ago, I was an NPC. I was a nobody. And now, if shit hit the fan, guys, I could go out into the wild. I can go find some water. I can boil it and make it potable. I could chop wood. I could do very, very minor bushcraft. Like basically, I could fill you in on what it takes to get started and what's the bare requisite and pros and cons of equipment you want to buy, and according to your budget. So if you found value in my channel, I have to be a douchebag and ask you to like this video and or even follow or subscribe so that I can keep going. And if I get big enough, I will really do you guys a favor by trying to lace you up with some knowledge, you know. And I always give credence. The video that I was just watching right now, and I gotta let you go, YouTube won't really let me upload videos longer than 15 minutes. It's WION, whatever that means, WION. I don't know if you can see that. WION News, right? And it's only one really bad thing. World War III, Russia responds to Trump's jab / game plan. You guys have a blessed one. I appreciate you hearing me out. All my material is very miscellaneous, so I hope you found value in it, and God bless. Keep on rocking in the free world.